Welcome to the History of Reiki Lesson 4. And I apologize in advance because I'm kind of going to butcher everybody's name. There's a lot of different histories about Reiki out there. I tried to find the one that was the most correct by people who actually went to Japan. So I took it from Reiki Fire and the teacher's manual from Tina Zion. There's another one, the Reiki Healing Made Easy, that I talk about all the time, is also another good one that has a probably a more realistic Reiki than it was in the classes I taught. So Dr. Yusi's biography is clouded and filled with mysteries. Much of the so-called Japanese information circled around about him and his movement outside of Japan has either been blown out of proportion or not properly researched. Yushi-san was honored for his good deeds by the Meiji Emperor of Japan, but so were thousands of others every year. The Western Reiki movement. Most Reiki teachers describe the Western movement as follows. Before his death, Dr. Yushi passed his knowledge on to several others and made Mr. Chihiro Hayashi, a commander in the Imperial Navy of Japan, the Reiki Grand Master, with the responsibility of leading all the other Reiki teachers. It was he who brought Reiki from Japan to the US when he visited Hawaii at the end of 1936. He met with one of his students, Oahu Takada. Miss Takada was a Japanese immigrant living abroad, born on the island of Oahu, Hawaii, on December 24th, 1900. Miyako Yusi was born on August 15th, 1862, in the village of Yago in southern Japan. He was married to Sadako Suzuki and had 2 children. From what is known, he was a talented and hardworking student. As an adult, he traveled to several Western countries and China to study and worked arduously, but he did at some point run into some bad luck. However, he didn't give up and trained himself arduously. Dr. Yusi had once run a business that failed. It left him not only with a great debt load, but also with desire to seek something other than material gain. No longer pleased with his life and his failed business, he went to Mount Kurama on a 21-day retreat to fast, meditate, and ask for something more important to do with his life. Dr. Yusi used to meditate at a waterfall on Mount Kurama, and one day while standing under the waterfall, he had a satori, or an experience. At the end of this experience, he suddenly felt the great Reiki energy at the top of his head, which led to the Reiki healing system. He first used Reiki on himself, then his family. Since it worked so well for various ailments, he decided to share this knowledge with the public at large. Sometime after his experience on Mount Kuruma, Dr. Yushi founded the Yushi Reiki Ryoho Reiki. And I'm sorry if I pronounced all those wrong. In September of the 12th year of 1923, the devastating Kanto earthquake shook Tokyo. Thousands were killed, injured, or became sick in its aftermath. Dr. Yusi grieved for his people, but he also took Reiki to the devastated city and used its healing powers on the surviving victims. His clinic soon became too small to handle the throng of clients, so in February of 1924 he built a new one outside of Tokyo in Nakano. He died on March 9th in 1926 of a stroke after having recovered from 2 previous ones 2 years before. He is buried at a Buddhist temple in the suburbs of Tokyo. The inscription on Dr. Yushi's tombstone shows he taught Reiki to about 2,000 people. Workshops by Dr. Yushi and his chief disciples were conducted on a regular basis. The translation from his stone reads, "Someone who studies hard," and in parentheses it's practices meditation, so that's what studies is. He practices meditation. and works arduously to improve body and mind for the sake of becoming a better person is called a man of great spirit. People who use that great spirit for a social purpose, that is, to teach the right way to many people and do collective good, are called teachers. Dr. Yusi was one such teacher. He taught the Reiki of the universe to countless people. Countless people came to him and asked him to teach them the great way of Reiki and to heal them. Chihiro Hayashi became a devoted student of Yusi's and developed the class structure for teaching Reiki. He is responsible for structuring the information to three levels. Hayashi traveled to Hawaii to visit one of his students, Hawayo Takada. She later opened her own clinic in Hawaii. He has been given credit for the spread of Reiki throughout the world by teaching it in Canada, Europe, and the United States. He is also known for charging $10,000 for teaching the Master Teacher degree. He felt it would send a message that Reiki was of great worth and importance. After her death in 1980, it began to break off into Japanese and American branch. Those two branches have branched over and over like an enormous tree over the years. Ms. Takada reportedly declared that in 1941 there were only 5 Reiki masters living under her leadership. She in turn is reported to have granted 22 masterships before her death on December 12, 1980, and she willed the title of Grand Master to her granddaughter Phyllis Leigh Furumoto. There is only one Reiki. No one has the right to claim it as their own. It belongs to humanity and the universe. Our only wish for the future of Reiki is that instead of fighting and bickering, everyone involved with Reiki can again come together in the true spirit of healing. Let's share our experiences and skills so Reiki can be accepted universally as a natural treatment for the mind, body, and spirit. We need to work together to promote this cause. It is vital in our increasingly harsh and violent world that we change the whole, honor the work, and the memory. There's a lot of bickering apparently further out in Reiki at one time. It's in those books. I didn't want to get into it in here, but if you pick up any one of those 3 books, it talks about it more. Although the world is full of suffering, it is also full of the overcoming of it. Helen Keller. And like I said, the resources for this model were the Reiki Teacher's Manual by Tina Zion, Reiki Fire by Frank Arhava Petter, and I would also suggest Winston Lang's Reiki Made Easy. I didn't get into the history that much because, like I said, so much of it, when I first took it, it was kind of, I would say, uh, like a fable type of deal. And then when I read other books, they didn't say the same thing that I learned, and it's nothing to do with my teachers. It's just the story that's been passed down. Like I said, it's like the game of telephone. Things get passed down and passed down. But when I went back and read books by people who actually went to Japan and studied the Japanese way, I decided to use that information instead of the stuff that I was taught.